Okay, welcome along. This is the SQL Undercover podcast. We're back. It's been a while since we last did one of these, I think. When was the last one, Aid? It's good. Back in...
I don't remember. It was this year sometime.
I reckon it's back,
but it was definitely a long time ago.
It was back in February, wasn't it? It was February when we had Sean McCowan on.
Has it been that long?
I think it was. It was Sean McCowan's mammoth 3-hour session.
That was good, though. That was seriously good. Really and I used some of the code the other day. I'll tell you about it a bit more later on afterwards. But I won't go into it too much now because we'll completely derail. But it was really awesome. It was such a great basis for other things, which is, I think, is exactly what the idea was of him doing the session. Was like this for complete beginners. You know, open your mind to some of the things that you can achieve with it. And it's definitely made a difference to my workload recently.
The amount of people I've pointed that way, people I've been chatting to PowerShell, people say, "Oh, I don't really know PowerShell." So I tell you what, I know there's a cracking tutorial on the SMO. Jump over SQL Undercover. We've got Sean McCowan there, and it was good. Although make sure you've got a good couple of hours to sit down and watch it.
It's definitely worthwhile. And even if you haven't watched the sessions and you just go and look at the material that he's produced on, it's so well commented that you can just pick it up as it is and then go, oh, okay, I could just adapt that a little bit and I'll just play with that bit and then I've got my script now, which is exactly what I did the other day. It saved me so much time. It was ridiculous.
That is good. Yeah, so you haven't seen that, check that one out as well. That was back in February. So we've got a bit of a different change in format, I think, now. So before we were trying to do quite big, long, hour plus things, we're going to shorten it down now because we just won't get the time. We won't get the time to get recorded, and they just weren't happening. So we're going to try and shorten them down now. So we're going to try and get probably a couple of them out a month. And it's going to be a little quick kind of flash session on something, probably about 5 minutes, maybe 20 minutes in, whatever we feel like doing. But we're going to try and keep them short. So this session, you've got the pleasure of me, and we're going to be looking at intent locks in SQL Server. So let me find my. There we go. Right, so intent locks. So intent locks is one of these weird things that a lot of people don't really understand, and they don't really kind of get the point of and what they're doing. I actually wrote a blog post on this because I've had a lot of conversations, and I've had more come up recently, which is why I've decided to talk about it now, where people just don't get intent locks. I was on the phone speaking to a customer DBA a couple of weeks back, and he was having a bit of a locking problem, some deadlocking issues. We were just talking about locks, and he was mentioning intent locks. And it just didn't really seem to understand what the point of them were. I mean, a lot of people think, I've heard people say that they think it's SQL intending to lock a resource. SQL saying, I'm going to lock a resource, which I suppose the name intent lock kind of sounds like it could be that, but it's not. It's completely different. So we're going to have a little look at intent locks. So before we get going with intent locks, I just want to do a bit of revision on the old lock hierarchy in SQL Server. So lock hierarchy in SQL Server, I'm sure you would know, but just to remind you, we can put locks at different levels. So we can put a lock at a database level. We can put a lock at a table level. We can lock a page, or we can lock a row. And if we say any lock at a high level have the same effect on the lower levels, if that makes any sense. So if we place a lock at a table level, so we put intent lock at a table level, that effectively locks every page in that table and every row in those pages. So that's the lock hierarchy. So now we're just going to zoom out into a little bit of a fancy world, okay? A little bit of an imaginary fancy world where we don't have any intent locks. So in our little fancy world, there's no intent locks. And I've got a unicorn in there. I was dared the other day to see if I get a unicorn into this talk, so it's there. one of our service desk technicians said, but you can't get a unicorn in. I said, I bet I can. So there it is. My fancy world unicorn. Right, so we're just going to pretend we're in a little fancy world where we've got no intent locks. So in our little fancy world, I'm going to just come into SQL Server and I'm going to update a row. And now when I update a row, SQL Server is going to put an exclusive lock on that row that I update. Now, Adrian, you're going to come in and you're going to now do an update, but you're going to update a whole bunch of rows, okay, a whole ton of rows. And because you're updating so many rows, SQL Server is going to say, well, you know what? I don't want to take out that many row locks. That's just stupid. You know, I can just lock that page. It's much quicker, much easier for me to lock that page, hold one lock, than it is to hold out, I don't know, however many rows that you're going to be updating. So SQL Server is going to come in. It's going to work down the lock. It's going to work down the lock hierarchy. It's going to first check database level, table level, because okay, is it safe for me to put an exclusive lock on that page? So it's going to get the page and go, well, look, okay, there's no locks on this page, so is it safe for me to put an exclusive lock on that page? It doesn't know. It still doesn't know, because at the moment, SQL doesn't know if there's any exclusive locks at a lower level, at the row level. So it then needs to go down and check the row. So we can say, yes, okay, we've got an exclusive lock on that particular row. Okay, looks simple, okay, but we're only looking at one row. SQL Server has got to look at every single row that's within that page. That could be a lot of checking. You know, SQL Server has got to check the page. It's then got to check every row. I mean, how many rows could be in a page? Don't know. There could be hundreds. There could be thousands of them. So that's a lot of checking. That can really, really hit performance. So how do we get around that? How do we kind of help this performance issue? Well, we're going to invent something funky, some new little fangled thing called intent locks. Okay, so we're now in the real world. Okay, SQL Server has intent locks. So what happens now? What happens when I come in and I update my row? Well, I'm going to pop an exclusive lock on my row, as we've seen. But now we also put an intent lock at a page level, and we put an intent lock at table level. We can have a quick see that in action. So let me just switch over to Management Studio. Okay, where I have a little database called TestDB. So let's just create a new query into TestDB. In TestDB, I've got a little table, people.
Brave man, live typing.
I know, I thought that as soon as I started. But it's not live because I can edit this because it's recorded. If I really do a good one. Cute effect recording, isn't it? So it's just a simple table. Okay, it's got it's about a bunch of people. Okay, it's got a first name, it's got a last name. We've got an email address, gender, and IP address. Okay, it's nothing particularly exciting. So I'm just going to update one of those rows. So I'm going to put it in a transaction, because obviously if I do the update, as soon as the transaction finishes, those locks get released, we will have a little look at the locks I'm holding out. So I'm just going to put it in transaction, not going to close the transaction, just so we can go have a little look at the locks. I'm getting a bit tongue-tied. So let's just update a row. So let's just update people. Let's set last name equal to, no, let's just have Smith. Yeah, live typing. There might be some editing going on. Where ID equals 1. Okay, nice and simple. Okay, so just run that in. Okay, so we're going to have taken out a bunch of locks. So if we open up a new query, I'm just going to quickly run a nice little stored prop, SP lock details. Now, SP lock details, this is a SQL Undercover one I just recently put out, actually. So you can go and grab this from GitHub or SQL Undercover. It just goes and it's going to give us a little bit of detail about any locks that are held out on our table. Okay, you can get some DMVs, you can join a few things. It's a bit of a faff joining things in, so I quite like lock details. As you can see, it just gives us a bunch of details about locks. So we can see sessions holding locks, we can see the database locks against, we can see the login, we can see what locks are held, and a few other bits and bobs. So straight away we can see that I've got session 57 is holding out an exclusive lock, an exclusive RID lock. So RID lock, that tells us it's a row lock. So we can see we're holding an exclusive row lock. But we've also got IX locks, and an IX lock is an intent exclusive lock. So you can see we've got two intent locks, two intent exclusive locks, one at page level and one at object level. So that, let's go back here. So that's just what we're seeing there. So how does this help us though? What's the point? Why does this help us out? Well, you're now going to come back in again, okay? And you're going to do that big old update again, okay? You're going to update all these rows. Again, SQL Server is going to say, well, you know what? I don't want to take out loads and loads and loads of little row locks. So, you know, I'm just going to take out a page lock. It's much more efficient for me to do that. So SQL Server is going to come in. He's going to say, right, well, is it safe for me to take out a page lock? And he's going to have a little look. He's going to say, well, I'll take a page lock on this page, but I can see there's an intent lock there. Someone's got an intent lock on this page. That tells me, it tells SQL Server that somewhere underneath there, somewhere in those rows, there's going to be an exclusive lock. So SQL Server knows, well, no, Age, you can't have your lock. You're going to have to wait. You're going to be blocked. Okay. So SQL Server no longer has to dig down and check each individual row. It just checks a page. It sees an intent exclusive lock, and that's what it is. It really helps performance, and it works in the same way in lock escalation. So lock escalation, if I'm sure we all know how it works. If we happen to take out 5,000 locks somewhere, SQL Server is going to go, right, okay, this is a ridiculous number of locks. I'm going to escalate that, and I'm going to take out a table lock. So lock escalation always goes straight to table lock, okay? Normally, without intent locks, SQL Server is going to have to check the table. It's going to have to check every single page, and it's going to check every single row in that page before it can take out that table lock. With our intent locks, we can easily see, okay, we've got an intent lock on table. I can't take out that lock just yet. I'm going to have to wait. So that's pretty much the purpose of an intent lock. It's just a way of letting SQL Server know that someone's taken out a lock at a lower level in the lock hierarchy. And it means that SQL Server doesn't have to go checking all those lower levels, all those little objects further down. And it really kind of helps speed up performance. So that's it, really. That's just a quick overview on intent locks.
Yeah, it's good. It's really useful, actually, seeing it mapped out that way, because certainly in the earlier days when I first started out looking into locks and blocking and that sort of stuff, you'd run something like SP lock. I don't have a clue what that stuff means. IX this and SCH that. What does it mean? And you can go and look that stuff up, but as well as I do, sometimes you read that stuff online in like a books online, and it's just some of the terminology goes straight over your head. If you're not that way inclined, if you don't know a bit about it in the first place, some of that stuff it's really hard to take in and absorb. But when you explain it like that, it's really, really easy to understand and makes a lot more sense now.
Yeah, that's one reason why I wrote SP lock details, because like I say, you run SP lock and you just get a load of numbers, don't you? It doesn't mean anything. And who's holding those locks? What are they on? I don't know. I don't know what object they're on. I've now got to cross-reference and find the object out, or I've got to cross-reference the row ID and find out what row or page. It's just it's a nightmare. So that's the reason why I wrote that. Really, it's just to make that life a little bit easier.
Everyone loves a challenge, but in the heat of the moment when you need answers, you ain't got time to go joining this onto that and mess around.
You've got this crazy blocking going on, and someone's like, "Oh, what's going on? What's causing the problem?"
Yeah.
It's just made life a bit easier.
Yeah.
And that's intent locks. So
excellent.
That's us. I think we're back in a couple of weeks' time. So come join us back in a couple of weeks' time. I think Ade, you've got something for us in a couple of weeks' time, haven't you?
Yeah, just something that I didn't even realise existed, really. Something I've used before, generating scripts from Management Studio, but there's times when I go and script those things, and I didn't realise there's lots of different options you can check and use that make things really useful. The main point is that since I've been working on the latest inspector build, that's when I've really realised it. But I'll show some of that stuff in the next session.
That'd be cool. All right, then. So you can check out our YouTube channel. You can check out SQLundercover.com, obviously, for the blog. We're on Twitter, Facebook, we're on Slack now as well. And
Slack, yes.
Anywhere else? I'm sure we're somewhere else. But anyway, just check us out, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks' time.